no adrenaline. The silence that once protected him began to suffocate him. Then came the window. The incident itself was simple. When the federal government decided Alpo Martinez could no longer live as the man the streets knew, they didn't erase him with a gunshot or a cell door. They erased him with silence. The kind of silence that settles into concrete walls, into long corridors without windows, into years where a man hears only his own breath and the distant echo of boots. Before Lewiston, before witness protection, before the alias, there was ADX Florence. ADX Florence is not a prison in the way most people understand prisons. It is an engineered environment designed to neutralize identity itself. Located in the high desert of Colorado, surrounded by mountains and open land that stretches endlessly in every direction, the facility exists to contain men whose very presence is considered destabilizing. Terrorists, organized crime leaders, cooperators too valuable or too vulnerable to place anywhere else. Men who, if exposed to the general population, could spark violence simply by being recognized. Alpo Martinez fit that category. By the time he arrived within the federal system's most restrictive custody, his reputation had already eclipsed his physical body. In Harlem, his name was synonymous with betrayal. In Washington, D.C., it was associated with fear and efficiency. In federal courtrooms, it was attached to testimony that dismantled entire networks. That combination made him dangerous in a way most inmates never are. Not because he could organize violence, but because violence would find him. Inside ADX, the government didn't need to punish Alpo. They needed to preserve him. That preservation came at a cost. 23 hours a day in a single cell. Meals passed through a slot. Exercise alone in a concrete pen open only to the sky. No contact, no conversations, no faces to read, no crowds to manipulate. The man who once thrived on movement, noise, and control was reduced to stillness. Investigators who later studied cooperators placed in supermax conditions would describe a pattern. The isolation doesn't just strip away power, it forces reflection. For some men, it leads to breakdown. For others, it produces something more dangerous: clarity. For Alpo, those years were not about regret in the moral sense. There is no evidence he suddenly reconsidered the choices of his youth. What the isolation did instead was expose him to the permanence of consequence. The streets had rewarded him quickly. The government moved slowly, deliberately, and without emotion. In ADX, there was no audience, no reputation, no leverage, just time. When the federal system eventually began transitioning him out of the most restrictive custody, it wasn't a sign of forgiveness. It was logistics. His usefulness as a witness had largely expired. The cases were closed, the testimony delivered. The names he provided had already been processed by courts, juries, and sentencing guidelines. He was no longer an active instrument. He was a liability that needed to be managed. Release in cases like his is never freedom. It is relocation. Witness protection is often misunderstood. It is not a reward. It is not comfort. It is controlled survival. The U.S. Marshal Service doesn't give you a new life. It gives you a narrow corridor through which you are allowed to exist, as long as you follow the rules. Don't contact the past. Don't draw attention. Don't test the boundaries. Stay small. When Alpo was removed from federal custody and prepared for relocation, the government did something deliberate. They didn't send him somewhere familiar. They didn't place him among other relocated witnesses. They sent him to Lewiston, Maine. Lewiston is not anonymous in the way big cities are. It is quiet, contained, observant. Former mill town. Working class. Immigrant communities rebuilding lives. A place where strangers are noticed but not questioned aggressively. For the marshals, it was ideal. Distance was the shield. Under the name Abraham Rodriguez, Alpo entered a world that did not know him and did not care to. He was no longer feared. He was invisible. That invisibility was the condition of his survival. At first it worked. He lived modestly. No displays, no luxury, no behaviors that would attract scrutiny. Locals would later describe him as reserved, polite, intense in a way they couldn't quite articulate. He wasn't friendly, but he wasn't hostile. He moved like someone who had learned caution as a survival skill. He scanned rooms. He kept his routines tight. He trusted almost no one. Handlers checked in. The program did what it does best: maintain distance while monitoring risk. For a time, Alpo appeared compliant. He wasn't causing trouble. He wasn't contacting old associates. He wasn't surfacing online. He was, by all appearances, doing exactly what the program required. But witness protection cannot erase psychology. The man who once controlled entire drug corridors was now cutting snow from driveways. The man who had survived Harlem, DC, prison politics, and supermax isolation was now living days that blurred together. In Lewiston, there was no competition, no hierarchy, no adrenaline. The silence that once protected him began to suffocate him. Then came the window. The incident itself was simple: a projectile, a crash, glass breaking inward. In any other context, it might have been dismissed as vandalism, but for someone under federal protection, it was treated as a signal. Investigators responded immediately. The apartment was assessed, the trajectory examined. Neighbors questioned discreetly, no suspects identified, no follow-up incidents recorded. Officially, it remained unresolved. Psychologically, it changed everything. For a man whose survival had depended on anticipating violence, the broken window wasn't an attack, it was uncertainty. It introduced doubt into the one thing witness protection promises: stability. Whether the act was random or intentional didn't matter. What mattered was that the barrier between him and the outside world had been breached. After that night, according to individuals familiar with his behavior during that period, Alpo became restless. The routines tightened. The vigilance sharpened. He began leaving Lewiston more frequently, driving longer distances, spending time away. The anonymity that once protected him now felt fragile. Handlers warned him. This was not unusual. Many relocated witnesses struggle with the same impulses. But Alpo's case was different. His identity had never been passive. He wasn't built to disappear. He was built to operate. Over time, compliance eroded.
What's up, fam? What we doing? What's poppin'? We up in the A All-Star Weekend.
Drop head. Mel Maxey.
Mel Maxey.
You know what this kid is already, right? I don't know who he is.
Whole life.
Whether through formal withdrawal or quiet administrative removal, Alpo Martinez eventually exited the witness security program. That fact alone is confirmed by his later public reappearance. The protections ended. The alias was abandoned. The narrow corridor closed. What Lewiston gave him was not safety. It gave him perspective. It showed him that survival without identity was its own kind of prison. That being alive but erased came with a psychological cost no sentence could quantify. It showed him that even under a different name, the instincts never left. The past never softened. The silence never healed. When he returned to Harlem years later, it wasn't as a king. It wasn't even as a player. It was as a man who had lived long enough to understand that no system, street or federal, ever truly lets you walk away. The years in ADX stripped him of illusion. The years in Lewiston stripped him of belonging. Between those two experiences, the myth of Alpo Martinez collapsed into something quieter and more tragic. Not a monster, not a hero, not a redeemed man. Just someone who outlived his world and never found a new one. And that is the part of the story most people miss. The government can protect your body, it can change your name, it can move you across the country, but it cannot rewrite who you were when survival was learned early and violence became language. For Alpo Martinez, witness protection didn't fail. It worked exactly as designed. He survived. What he couldn't survive was himself.
What's up, fam? What we doing? What's poppin'? We up in the A All-Star Weekend.
Drop head. Mel Maxey.
Mel Maxey.
You know what this kid is already, right? I don't know who he is.
Whole life.
I'm gonna ask Rich. I'm gonna step to him because I'm really just fed up with it now. So I'm gonna ask Rich who he got that coke from. This last thing I got, who he getting this coke from? And if he lied to me again, that's it. It's over.
Okay.
I'm taking him out. So now I told my little man this. I'm saying, yo, you come. I said, yo, we gonna go to New York. I had just got me a customized van. I just bought me a customized van. Them big joints with the TV and the bed and all that.
Okay.
So I had just bought one of those, and it was up there in the shop getting the system done and all that. So I told my little man, I said, yo, we gonna go to New York. We're gonna fly to New York. I'm gonna get with Rich, and I'm gonna find out what the hell is going on.
Okay.
So one thing led to another, and I don't want to go into all, but did I? The question is, did I have anything? Did I kill Rich?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. I killed Rich.
How'd that come about? You just put, because everything on the street said that a limousine pulled up.
Huh?
A limousine pulled up and put Richard in the car or something like that.
That's what they said?
Yeah.
No. That's what that didn't happen. That's for them to see later on. That's what that didn't happen. That's what.
Okay.
That didn't happen. But I know the thing is, did I kill Rich? And yes, I killed Rich. Why did I kill him? It wasn't personal. It was business. I'm gonna tell you this, because Rich, like I told you, like the story I do with the connect and all that. Rich, he was lying to me about something that there was no reason to lie to me about, and in my mind, it just told me that if this little bit of money can come between what I thought was a wonderful relationship and a friendship, then no telling what you might sell me down the line for. And I gave him the opportunity to tell me the truth, not once but twice. So when I already came with the plan with my little man, and like, yo, if he lied to me, we just gonna do what we need to do. Then that's what happened. Did I kill the little brother? No, I didn't. That was, you know who that was, right?
Right.
You know who that was?
Right. They said it was Preacher.
No, they didn't. That's who it was. They got
right.
Not just Preacher, but Richard's uncle Apple.
Right.
They did that. And what made it seem like I had something to do with it is because where I left Richard, the boy's body was found almost in that same whole City Island area.
Now, they said you carried the body all the way from Harlem to City Island?
Yeah.
You wasn't afraid?
No. I mean, once that first murder, once you take care of that first murder in your life, it's like really, and not that this is a good thing that I'm saying, but once you do it once, it's like everything else is. No, I wasn't afraid. No, the answer is that no, I wasn't afraid. I mean, I was doing what I had to do, Antoine.
Okay.
Definitely got killed in that area, and his body was definitely taken up to around City Island.
Okay.
He got hit twice. It was just he felt something, man, because I'll tell you this, his hand was on the doorknob. I had to pry his hand from the doorknob because it locked on the doorknob.
Locked on the doorknob?
Yeah, he was trying to get up out of there.
They also said that he scratched your neck.
That's a false. He never scratched. Richard, first of all, Richard never seen it coming, really. He couldn't have scratched my neck because I was the driver, and my little man took care of everything else. And he didn't scratch me. How I got my neck scratched, and it's not they said it. I believe AZ said my neck.
Right, AZ said it.
Yeah, I believe AZ said my neck. Hold on. Richard didn't scratch my neck. Richard never even seen it coming. Richard never even laid a hand on me. He never knew what was happening.
Now, how'd your little man get killed now?
Little Gary got killed in D.C. And it wasn't because he helped me out with the Rich thing and all that. Oh yeah, by the way, I got my money back that Rich jerked me out of. You want to put that?
Okay.
Definitely got my money back.
How'd you do that?
Well, remember I just got hit with a bunch of bricks from him.
Right.
That I was supposed to bring the money back for.
Right.
I kept that.
Oh, you kept that?
Yeah, I got close to what he was beating me for back.
Okay.
My little man in D.C. It came a thing with him where he was, he was a short kind of guy. He was about 5'1", 5'2", real slim in the body and a real big head.
Okay.
But he was getting money, though. People didn't know he was getting money. At that time, he was probably holding about $1 million, $2 million, and people didn't know that he was holding like that. he was getting it, and he had a real short man complex. Okay, and like I said, we wasn't just business partners. I knew a lot of his business. I knew his family. He knew my family in D.C. and in New York. You know, I knew his son's mother. I knew where he laid his head. He knew where I laid my head sometimes. You know, I knew some of his stashes. He knew some of my stashes. We became real close. So, and he was also the one with me with Rich.
Okay.
So we had a lot of secrets on one another. And he had the short man complex, and he started to become real jealous with me as far as through the people, because the people used to, since I was Alpo, people used to see him with me all the time and think he was working for me.
Right.
Because not until I came to DC really, he started coming out with like Benzes and all, because he seen what I was doing, so he started busting out with little Benzes and all that type of 300 coupes and all that.
Right.
And I always had the reputation if you lent me your car, Antoine, automatically that was my car.
Right.
That was my car. And then if they seen you with it, like, oh yeah, he driving Poe car. So time went on. One day, me and him and one of his workers was sitting at a table at a restaurant having a sandwich, and he called my wife a bitch. He called my wife a bitch because he was like, man, you still with that crazy bitch? And I just looked over at him, and I could have took it a little better if it was just me and him. But one of his workers was there.
Right.
And I kind of like gave him that look like, yo, you really disrespected me right now. And so he seen her. She was coming to look for me down Southwest because she knew I hung out down there. So the kid, Gary seen her, he was like, yo, there go that bitch. Look at that bitch. Who's she looking for? She must be looking for Poe. And my man Wayne heard him say this. And he beat me. He beat me later. He was like, yo, Gary was down here talking trash about you, and he disrespected your wife. I was going to kill him right there, but I said, let me get with you first. Because I was like, no, I still got love for the kid. No, he's just frustrated right now. And we had a lot of secrets on one another, and I always told them before this happened, I said, you know, we know so much about one another that if we was to ever get into any type of confusion or anything, one of us would have to leave. And I'm definitely not going back to New York because I'm getting money. So the only thing else is one of us will have to die. He was like, yo, I feel you, because we knew a lot about one another. So now I got this deal coming up with this connect, like, yo, this crazy big deal, like, yo, they want me to put up like, I had to put up like maybe about $2 million. They was gonna hit me with like probably about, I say anywhere from like $6 million worth of coke in New York.
Produced
you hear me?
Contrast
Yeah, it was like about $6 million. So they wanted me to put up like $2 million, and I owe $4.
Okay.
Right? So I had like 1.5. I put up like 1.5, and I was just telling my little man for him to just put up a $500,000.
Okay.
I was able to put up I could have put up the whole $2 million at that time.
Okay.
This would have just set us on the map for, and it was at like 11,000 a key, 10,000 a key. I could have came to DC and got 19,000 to dudes who I didn't really like, and the dudes who I was real cool with, I could have got 17. You know, that was like $6,000, $8,000 profit. So before this goes about, his anger is really building up with me and all that. He's not really feeling me like that anymore. And we really had stopped hanging out, you know. But I didn't really pay no attention to it. I'm saying I still got love for this kid and all that. So he tells somebody down in Lawton prison about this deal. He told somebody that he was cool with down there. Only thing he didn't know that the same person that he's telling, they know my man, Wayne. My man Wayne, he get to me and say, yo, you about to put a deal together in New York for this, that, and gonna put gas. I said, what the hell? I said, how you know? He said, well, man, my man called me down from Lewon. He said, Gary told him that, yo, that you want to put this deal together and it ain't gonna go, you know, he gonna wind up doing you in the process. Just how much anger he built up for me. So I said, oh, yeah. So my man was like, yo, I said, no, we got to do this right now. Can't just be running up on Gary in broad daylight. That's gonna come back to us. So we got to do this right, and we got to get him when nobody know. So my little man Gary, he had a little beef with somebody, and they just like maybe like a month earlier, they tried to kill him. And so he beats me one night and said, yo, kid, one of the kids' name was Jawbreaker out of DC, the kid named Jawbreaker. He said, yo, I know where Jawbreaker them at. This is Gary talking to us on the phone, like, yo, I know where the kid Jawbreaker them at. They had such and such, such and such. I said, oh, yeah. So I'm talking to him on the phone. I said, who you with? He said, yo, I'm by myself. I said, you got something? He said, yeah, I got 2 pistols with me now. I said, all right. I was with my man Wayne and like 2 other dudes that were under my man Wayne. So that was our perfect opportunity. My man Wayne was like, yo, this is it. Make it happen.
Productions.
So we go. We jump in this kid MPV van, because we used to like using MPV van because they had the little side compartments. We could throw the pistols in there if the police pull us over real quick. So we jump in the MPV van. So I'm driving because since I was like the best driver. So we go meet the kid Gary, because this is a perfect opportunity. Don't nobody know he's with us now. And when he come up missing, we can always be like, man, I knew how to deny it quick.
Okay.
So we go get him. Boom. So we go get him. He gets into the MPV van. He parks his car, whatever. He parks his truck. He had the truck at the time. He parks his truck. I met him on, Florida Avenue. I go meet him on Florida Avenue by a Wendy's, I think it was.
Okay.
We get a little revolver out of the stash, and I give it to the dudes that's sitting in back of my man Gary. So my man Gary, he's in the middle, but he don't know that we done slipped the revolver to the back to the kid who's gonna hit him in the head. We ran for about 5-10 minutes after we get the gas. Bang, my man hit him. I give the signal through the rearview mirror. My man hit him with the revolver, 2 in the head. All you hear is, ugh, once he hit him, because the kid Gary was getting kind of sleepy, because we was about to be like, yo, we ain't gonna catch these dudes. So, Gary was getting kind of sleepy, so he's like dozed off for a minute. So he never even seen it or felt it coming. So the kid hit him with the revolver, bow, bow, so the bullets don't go nowhere, because in the revolver, they don't pop out.
Okay.
So he hit him in the head twice. Down. Gary, he winds up shitting on himself.
Okay.
From his muscles relaxing.
Okay.
So he's stinking up the car and all that. So that's how the thing came about, that his dick was chopped off. So we had to find some woods. So I had to find somewhere to dump him at. So we wind up taking him in this park over on 16th Street in Northwest.
Okay.
I don't know if it's Potomac Park. I think it's called Potomac Park or something. So we wind up taking him over there. And I said, yo, man, we gonna leave him in the woods. So I said, yo. So we pull over in this real dark. I said, yo, take off his clothes, man, so they won't spot him through the clothes and all that. Take off his clothes and leave him naked in the woods. So we do that, and we dragging him through the woods naked. So he gets a couple of scratches on his body and his face and on his penis, because we taking him through the woods. We dragging him. Okay. So that's how it came about that they thought we chopped off his dick and all that. And I thought where we left him at was real cool, but we wound up leaving him next to some type of telephone box or something. And the next day, just so happened that the telephone people was coming out to fix this box. And that's how they found him the next day.
Didn't they say something about Demencio with your wife?
Huh?
Demencio.
Demencio was a situation where he really disrespected himself and he disrespected other people, and that's why that happened to him.
Okay.
Yeah. He thought he was tougher than what he really was. But I ain't play with them Brooklyn dudes.
You ain't play with them?
Nah. I ain't. They were cool. I had some cool ones that came up out of Brooklyn, but I just always remembered as a kid how Brooklyn used to like to rob you and all that.
Right.
How they was always known for robbing you. So that kind of like stuck with me in my time. But I met some cool getting money dudes out of Brooklyn, without a doubt.
Okay. Who hit him?
My man that was down with
Wayne Perry?
Not Wayne, but the kids that was up on the Wayne. Wayne, too many people knew him as far as right there, so we got one of his little soldiers to hit him. But I was shaking his hand. I told him, I said, when you see me shaking his hand, I nod my head. You hit him right.
You never feared that one of the bullets would slip off and maybe hit you?
No, I didn't care about that. I was shaking his hand. It was enough because they walked right up on him. I mean, it wasn't from a distance. As I was shaking his hand, they walked right on him and put the gun right to his forehead and blasted him.
That was in the daytime?
Yeah, daytime. Broad daylight. After a basketball game. I just got finished playing basketball in a basketball tournament.
So now, did that put the police right on you?
Well, they were ready on me, so that just let them know. Because later on, when they finally arrested me, they was like, "Man, you was killing off everybody." So that just gave them. They was already looking for me, so that was just something else that they put in their book, like another one.
Didn't y'all kill someone else that was from your crew?
His name was Andre.
Right. Whatever happened to him?
Yeah, we killed him. Yeah, we killed Andre. And this guy was spending a lot of money, man. Killed him for 2 reasons, actually. One is he was messing with my man Gary's girl.
Okay.
And we told him to leave her alone.
Okay.
That was the main reason, because he was messing with my man Gary's girl. We found out about it. So being that he was dealing with me, I kind of was able to talk to my man Gary and tell Gary, like, yo, check this out. Dude is spending money with me. Just chill out. We're not going to do nothing to him. So
You're spending good money?
Huh?
You're spending good money?
Man, the man was spending about $400,000 every month with me. Whew. About $400,000 every month. At least that. He found out that I was messing with his girl. You know, he came to kind of like put it together and found out, but he never said nothing. Now, he met my man's girl somewhere, somehow, and he booked her, and they was doing their thing. And the girl, Caprice, was kind of like, she was starting to get real unhappy with my man Gary, because he really had her on lockdown, kept her in the house with the baby and all that. She couldn't really do nothing and all that. We had bought her a convertible BM and all that, but she couldn't really drive it. When she drove it, she had to be certain places. So he really had her on lock and had her scared. So this kid Andre met her, whatever, and, you know, I guess, so we found out about it. My man Gary found out about it, and he called me. This when we was tight like that. He called me, he was like, yo, Paul, I need to talk to you. I said, all right. So I met him or whatever. He was like, yo, this nigga Tank messing with my girl. This and that, man. I'm going to step to him. He know that's my people and all that. I said, hold up, Gary, let me. And my man Gary was like, yo, that's it. He was ready to just take him out. So because he knew that was Gary's baby mother, and you didn't do that.
Right.
So, and you know, I'm boning Andre's girl, so I'm like, oh man. So let me go talk to him first. And again, the kid Andre never said nothing to me. He knew I was boning girl. He never said nothing to me. So, and he wasn't no tough guy. Nothing. He didn't, you know, he was about getting $1. So
Okay.
I went to go talk. I said, yo, Andre, check this out, man. You know, me and you doing business, money's good, this and that. But yo, you got to stop boning Gary's girl, man. You got to stop messing with her, man, because he knows he's upset, and you know he giving fair warning. I mean, he's letting this one go, because he don't believe y'all had sex or whatever, and I don't even want to know. But whatever you're doing with her, let it go, man. It ain't worth it, man. And he was like, yo, I hear you good looking out, this and that. He told me this straight in my face. It's about 2-3 weeks past. My man Gary called me, Ken. He beat me. Yo, come see me, man. So I go meet him. Kid Andre got to die, man. Check this out. Dude doing it again, man. He's still seeing Caprice and this and that. I said, all right, man. He said, man, this time I want to talk to him. So I said, all right, no problem. So I had a deal with the kid Andre for about $270.
Okay.
About $270,000 this day. He wanted some drugs. So I said, yo, we killed 2 birds with 1 stone. I'm going to meet him, take care of this business with him, and you can talk to him at the same time.
Okay.
So I go meet the kid.
Produced by
We go meet the kid at my favorite spot over there in Minnesota and Pennsylvania Avenue over there by the Ammo. I told Gary, I said, just chill, man. Let me go talk to him. I had my 5.0 this day. I said, let me go talk to him, and then you come. So I got into the truck. I told the kid, Andre, I said, what's up, man? I said, everything all right? He said, yeah. I said, well, what's going on, man? You bad? He said, nah, this and that. So my man Gary, here come my man Gary. As I'm talking to the kid Andre jumped into the back of the caravan to go get the money out and all that.
Okay.
And I was over in the passenger seat. So my man Gary, he comes from out my car, which he was in the passenger seat, and comes around through the driver's side to the empty seat. So the kid Andre is coming from the back seat to the middle seat now with the bag of money. So as soon as the kid Andre turns around to look at me and let me know that the bag that my man Gary is coming in the car and hit him right in the head. Boom! My man Gary was strapped all the time. He knew he was going to kill him, but he knew not to tell me because I was going to tell him, no, don't do that. So now I'm like, oh, Gary, what the hell? He was like, yo, man, the hell with that dude, man. He was this and that, this is bad. I said, all right. But in my mind, I'm saying, yeah, you're right. Because now I got the girl all to myself, so we killed 2 birds with 1. I'm saying I'm going to miss the money, but I got the girl now, too. I got the 270 now. So I take the money. I said, man, what the hell? I take the money. He had a Rolex on. We left all that. I said, man, follow me in the car, man. Go. I said, here, take this bag. Take the car. Follow me. So we drove about 5-6 blocks away from that area.
Right.
In a residential area, nice quiet block. Just threw him down on the floor. Wiped off everything that we touched and all that. And just left him there. And they found him like 2 days later, 3 days later, because from the stench of the body and all that. Because it was like summertime, so his body started stinking, and they found him.
Did the girl think that you did that?
No, she didn't think it at first, because she beat me as soon as she found out and was like, yo, they killed Andre. She crying. So, I'm like, hold on, boo-boo, don't worry about it. We're going to find out who did that. So I'm going over there, comforting her and telling her to calm down and this and that. And so now we got that 270, and I give my man $100,000. I keep 170, and that was that on that one.
That was that on that one?
Yeah, he violated as far as my man telling him to stay away from his his daughter's mother. And he wouldn't listen. Yeah.
How many are you actually charged with?
14.
14 homicides?
14 murders, yeah.
Which are they?
7 or 8 in D.C., and the rest was in New York, like some of the stick-up kids.
Okay.
And
so how'd they find out about the stick-up kids in New York?
well, that's what I'm seeing. Well, now my situation, now we get into that, my situation. Now, I want to take this opportunity to just, 2 rumors that was always around about, and make sure this goes in there, Antoine.
Okay.
2 rumors that was always out about me. That one was, I don't know if you ever, that I was dying of AIDS in prison.
I heard that one.
Okay, that's false.
Okay.
I'm healthier than I ever was.
Okay.
And the other one, a lot of people, Poe is snitching, Poe is telling. Yes. If that's what you want to call it, then that's what you call it. But Poe calls it looking out for Poe.
Okay.
I'm doing what I gotta do for me, and for the people that read this and read the article, or the once upon a time friends that I thought I had, and they look at it and say, "Oh, Poe went out like a sucker," or "Poe went out like this." In life you make choices, and sometimes those choices are good and they're bad. You follow me?
I follow you.
And I thought at the time when I did what I had to do for me, I thought I definitely had to understand that what I'm doing ain't right, but that's what I needed to do for me.
Right.
I've truly come to accept that I made the right choice.
Did at any point Rafis himself try to send anybody out?
Nah, me and him never had no problems because when he was out, he had so much of the town locked, I wasn't really a threat to him.
How many different crews tried to kill you in D.C.?
In D.C., I probably had about 3 different crews trying to come at me, and they was coming at me, but they wasn't for real though, because they knew who I had with me, man. They knew I had killers, man. They knew I had killers. They knew I was boss my gun too.
Do you ever feel at any time that they may get together and try to kidnap you?
What, Wayne and them?
Right.
No.
If Wayne was so loyal, why'd you flip on him then?
Government. They wasn't dealing with Alpo on a, well, we're going to give you 10 years, Mr. Martinez, or we're going to give you 15 years, or even 20 years. No. They wanted me for the death penalty. They was trying to look to give me the death penalty, or if they couldn't succeed with the death penalty, they was going to try to give me the rest of my natural life in jail. Because we had murders. We had 2 murders. We had murders 2 blocks away from the White House.
What was that about?
Huh? That was about a female. That was a female. She wasn't really. That was about a female. But my man was so crazy that this female, when we killed this big drug dealer in D.C., that was the guy earlier. I told you the kid Frey, Michael Frey. When we took him out, it was such a big deal. That was such a big thing that this hooker started. I'm not even gonna call her hooker. This female started running her mouth about a situation that she didn't really know nothing about, and my man got so upset at that he just said, you know what, she gotta go. She talking too much. And it was after a Keith Sweat concert. It was at this place called Constitution Hall. Constitution Hall. And that's like 2 blocks away from the White House. And he just left her there.
You just left her there? Why'd you kill Michael Frey?
Michael Frey was someone who was about to get back in position in D.C., and he had a little cleanup list of people who he needed to eliminate for him to be back in power like that again. And I was the first one at the top of his list.
Okay.
To get rid of me. And how I found out about that is that he didn't know I was feeding somebody in his camp. I was looking out for somebody in his camp because he couldn't take care of him, and they got the information back to my man, and my man got it to me, and that same person that was in his camp wound up killing him for me.
Okay. Now, the murders that you're charged with in D.C., which ones are those?
Like I said, those 8 of them. We go into more detail, but 8 of them are in New York. 8 of them are in D.C. and I think 2 was in Maryland, and the rest was in New York. It came out to 14 that I copped out to. And when I say copped out to, when in my position as far as doing what I had to do for me, as far as testifying and all that, and I had to confess to those murders. I had to tell those murders.
How would they get the New York murders?
Well, because that's all one. New York comes to D.C. and they give the investigation. When the feds are investigating you, they investigate everything.
But how would they know all of that?
From me.
Oh, okay.
Once you take the position that I've taken, you have to tell it all. things they didn't know I had said to them, because if it came a time later on that they found out about it, then whatever agreement, whatever situation that they gave me, they can take it back and take me back to court.
Okay.
It was that kind of thing. Like for 4 of the murders in New York, I got immunity.
Got immunity?
Yeah, I basically almost got like immunity, because they just added them to the murders in D.C.
Okay. Now let me ask you another thing. They said also in New York that our preacher extorted you and Rich.
Right.
Right.
Now, yeah, let's cover that real quick. Preacher never took 2 pennies from me. Now, Antoine, like I said, I'm here telling you that I'm telling the noise, so there's no reason for me to hold back anything from you. The preacher never took 1 penny from
Produced
Alpo.
by Contracts Productions.
Never, ever. He would have took 2 bullets before he took any kind of money from me. Preacher, now, his situation with Rich was different. Preacher took care of some murders for Rich. No, Preacher, I was real cool with the guy that Preacher killed named Terry. That was his partner.
Okay.
I was messing with his goddaughter named Vanessa, this girl named Vanessa, and they never came at me for any kind of extortion. One time, Preacher came and asked me for like a half a key of coke, and I never even got it to him because I was so much in and out of town, I wasn't even thinking about him. No. My little man, my man that I told you earlier that was the stick-up kid with me and all that, he had Preacher. He knew Preacher. He was going to kill Preacher. Preacher never took a penny from me. Even now in my position, some people came to see me about Preacher, and they was asking me like, yo, the Preacher... So I could have benefited from there if I wanted to and just said, yeah, but no, Preacher never took any kind of money from me. He always thought AZ was a punk. He always used to call AZ a punk. He knew what I was about. He knew what I was about, so he didn't even come at me like that. And as far as Rich, him and Rich had an understanding because of Apple being Richard's nephew, and Richard paid him like $10,000 before he came home or something to kill this kid, Sean Moe. They killed him coming out of 145th Street Garage in St. Nick.
Okay.
So him and Rich had that situation, and then he was right around the corner in 148th Street. But I don't ever remember Rich even giving him any money. So, and see the thing with the Preacher, Antoine, I don't care if you was talking to him. If somebody rode by you and seen you talking to Preacher, they automatically said he was getting money from you.
Right.
That's how that was. That's how his rep was. It was so strong like that as far as extortion. But if anybody that really knows me, they know I'm not paying nobody nothing. Right. It's easier for me to tell him to meet me and pick up the money and just put 2 in his head. Come on. That was the case. I could have brought my man Wayne from D.C. If I didn't even want to, I could have brought him from D.C. They don't know Wayne. Wayne would have walked right up on him, hit him 3 times, and then piss on him. They ain't caring about no damn Preacher. He respected me the same way I respected him.
What was it like where did the feds catch you at?
They caught me in D.C.
In D.C.?
Yeah.
They said it was on Pennsylvania Avenue? Or
Yeah.
Minnesota? Pennsylvania?
Pennsylvania Avenue, yeah. No, Pennsylvania and Minnesota, yeah. Minnesota and Pennsylvania, yeah.
What was that experience like?
That experience, that was a scary experience for me because, this the feds. I know once they came, I knew it was over. They was lamping outside this apartment. They was lamping outside this house I used to be at a lot. This dude used to cook. He was a good cook. He was a faggot. Mm-hmm. And his name was Manny. Manny was a good guy. He was a homo though. He was gay. Okay. Everyone knew him in D.C. And the guy Frey that I talked about that we killed, his girlfriend, her name was the same girl that Rich used to mess with. This was one of the girls that Rich used to mess with named Inga.
Okay.
She was messing with the kid Frey now. So now after he gets killed, later on the line, the feds run up in her house. They had heard he got killed, so they had heard that I may have killed him because I wanted to be with her.
Oh.
So they ran up in her spot. So when they ran up in her spot and told her that, she was like, oh yeah, he might have had something to do with it. Well, he don't be here. He be at Manny's house all the time.
Right.
So what they did was they started checking out Manny's spot. And they caught me coming there a couple of times, but they didn't move in at that point. They wanted to make sure that it was me. So this one night they was lamping outside the joint. I was waiting for her, and in the process that I was waiting for her, the kid Manny came outside, and we was sitting in his Cadillac because I was waiting for my wife to pull up, and this dude walked past the car. Black dude, it was around 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. I'm like, man, what the hell? What the hell he doing walking by? So I'm strapped. So I get the 9. I was carrying like 2 9s with me, so I pulled them joints out. The kid man was like, "What you gonna do?" I said, "No, I just don't trust this dude right here." So I got my 9s with me and all that, and so he disappears. My wife pulls up. She's driving a rental car, so I get in, because I had took all the cars back from her, so she couldn't get to none of the cars. I had took her BMs and all that. So I go on the passenger side of the rental, and I get in. I said, "Yo, go ahead, drive." I told Manny I'll see him later. I went up in the rental, talking to her. I told her to drive. So as she's driving, I see a great Thunderbird coming back of her. You make that turn. You make that left. So the light is green now. Now she's moving a little something. It goes to yellow. I said, "Okay, now speed up and make this left." So when she made the left, she almost turned in, like going the wrong way up the street.
Okay.
So I grabbed the steering wheel and jerked it back to the right lane, to where the traffic is going the right way. So right across the street, right across from the corner that we made the turn, there's a Amoco gas station on Pennsylvania and Minnesota.
Okay.
So they got a police car in there. They knew that I wouldn't pull over for no regular car. So what they did was they sent a police car at me. And in my mind, I wasn't driving. My wife was driving. So in my mind, I'm saying, okay, I got fake ID. I had about 10 different IDs. And my wife had her license, so I'm saying, well, you ain't really do nothing, so just pull over and we gonna see what they gonna say. You made a mistake, and we on our merry way. But the feds was behind them all the time. The feds had said, they told me later on that we knew we couldn't just pull you over in any old kind of car, so a regular police car you may pull over for. And when I stepped out, they jumped out the trees and out the restaurant, and all kind of cars came and this and that. But I tried to jump back in the car, and my wife tried to throw the car in drive, but she never got it in drive. She just got it down to neutral, and the car was just revving real high. And they snatched her out the door and pulled her through the window, and they threw me on the floor. And the feds, and then one of the agents was like, "Give us that famous smile." And I just looked up at them and gave them a smile. They was like, "Yeah, that's him." Yeah, and they had and when I went to the federal building, they had a can of Alpo on their table.
A can of Alpo?
Yeah, they gave a can of Alpo to the federal agent who finally got me. The van that they had an old van sitting outside this faggot's house. And when I finally got knocked, they opened that joint up, and that joint had top of the line technology. It had like a scope up in there, all type of surveillance equipment and all that. But the joint looked like a raggedy old van. So they was definitely surveilling the joint from the girl telling her that I'd be down there a lot. And that's how they got me. That's how they got me that night, November 6th, 1991. Over to D.C. jail and all that. I'm in D.C. jail for a little while. My name, they starting to hear that I'm up in there. And because the kid Rayful, he had just, maybe like 2 years before, he had just left the joint. Like I said, he was like one of the biggest dudes coming up out of D.C. I'm hooking up with some of the dudes that I used to deal with on the street. They brothers are in there, so they strong. A couple of little beasts was trying to take off for the kid Michael Frey. His nephew was in there, and a couple other dudes that was rolling with him, so they was trying to, like, "Yo, did you kill my uncle?" and this and that. But nothing never came about that, because I was a little too much. I was a little too strong for them at that time.
You're strong. You had a little crew in there.
Yeah, I had to. Like I said, my man. My man and brother and them, they were strong. Then my man Wayne. Okay. He did is send the word to the jail, like, "Yo, my man is up there. Make sure he's right." Right. So the unit they had me in, dudes like, "Yo, don't worry about nothing, bro. You all right?" Okay. And like I said, my man, little brother, he doing like 40 with the feds now. I think he just caught another body. He was strong, so I didn't really have nothing to worry about. But then they snatched me up out of there. They took me to Virginia. They snatched me. Now it was time for me to. They was extraditing me to Virginia to the original complaint, which was Nut. Right. Rich and them cousin. Now I'm over in Alexandria Detention Center, sitting for months, just sitting, not knowing what the hell is going on. My lawyer's telling me, well, they got you for this, they got you for that. So in that, I'm thinking, okay, I can fight this over here. This ain't really nothing. Oh, that's crazy. I didn't do all this over here. No, I'm thinking, D.C. not really coming. They got me for something in Virginia. What D.C. was doing was just building their case and was going to just add to this Virginia thing. So once I was in that system, they had people willing to come testify. Once I'm in jail, they had people willing to come testify against me, and other crews before me were going to try, and they was coming back with natural life and all that. So my lawyer was like, "Look, you really need to make a decision." And I was trying to fight them. I was going through all the preliminaries as far as what kind of evidence they had on me, what their case was. I was really taking it to the point where I'm gonna see if I can fight these people. And my lawyer was like, "Look, your ace in the hole is if they ever ask you to tell, you really need to think about that." And that wasn't until like 8, 9, almost a year later that I decided to do that. So my lawyer came back at me and was like, look, they trying to make a deal, man. They really want Wayne Perry. They want you, but they also want Wayne Perry. And if you got anything good on Wayne Perry, they're willing to make a deal with you. So I was like the less of two evils. Me and Wayne, we were both evil to them, but I was the less.
Right.
Evil one. Like, we can sleep with him, but we can't do nothing with Wayne Perry.
Right.
We got to prosecute one of them, so I'd rather us prosecute Wayne Perry. But then when them crackers wanted me, they put the full court press on me. We gonna hit you with the death penalty. We know we got you for this murder. We got you for that murder. This is the capital punishment right here. We gonna get you. I'm sitting up in there like, yo, the hell am I gonna do? And I'm talking to my lawyer. My lawyer like, yo, your ace in the hole is Wayne Perry because they asking about him and this and that. I'm saying, yo, we not going there right now. Here's 70, 80,000. Let's get this thing rolling and all that. And then they started bringing in the wife, talking about going to mess with Mama Duke and the sister and the niece. I said, hold. Let's talk for a minute. What you want?